Hey, Trey Lovely here on time. Chat. Sorry, we are a couple minutes late, but this is hard. It's hard doing recaps every Sunday and late ass recaps too. Oh my
Well, they're
goodness.
starting the episodes later, right?
I
Or
know,
this
and
is
they're
just
starting the
tonight?
episodes like 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
Then they give us these little short ass episodes. So I mean, it's damn near 11 o'clock. Okay. But we come to y'all live after the episodes. Other people, you gotta wait till tomorrow after work. We
Mhm.
give it to you live. Okay. So, anyways, hey Ashley, mind my black. What does
What's
that say?
up?
Black business,
Black
black
owned
owned business.
business.
Even better. Hey,
Mhm.
Season.
Hi.
Hey, Karina. She says, "Hey, y'all. I'm fed up with
Oh,
Insecure."
Big
Woo.
bitch.
You know what? I don't think this is gonna be a terribly long recap, but I'm warning y'all, it might be a little bit disgruntled because Karina, I'm kind of right there with you. Like, okay, my attitude is this. What the fuck was the point of this episode? Like, I mean, this is not a 20 episode season. This is not an hour long show. It's two more episodes left after this. This was a complete throwaway episode for me. Like, it was a complete waste of time. Hey Ken. I mean, and I honestly don't even think it was like super funny to make up for the fact that basically nothing happened.
mhm.
I mean, it was. I got a chuckle. I got a little bit out of it, but it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to have. Yay, Ashley, what's your overall reaction to the episode?
I feel like this was season 4, episode 15 type of show. Like you said, throwaway. Like it gave nothing. It's just a filler episode. I
Yeah,
mean, because like we already know they love each other. Okay, they're moving in. Like y'all it's stretching stuff out for some reason and not moving it
yeah,
really forward. So yeah, it was like, okay, what's next? I feel like I've seen this already. Like this is
yeah. It
nothing.
it really wasn't anything new for this season. Even it was still
Hmm.
just like it was like a retread. I
Yeah.
think the only new thing that really happened was Molly, and we'll get to her in a second. Karina says
Hmm.
that long ass dream sequence, and we got two
Yeah.
of them. Really, Issa? Like, really? Season, what was your reaction to the overall episode?
I mean, it was a complete waste of fucking time for me. I'm very irritated. I text y'all 5 minutes into the episode saying I'm not even here for this shit tonight, and it did exactly what the fuck I thought it was gonna do. Get on my nerves, waste my time.
Yeah,
That's
I,
it. That's
I,
it. That might be all I had to contribute tonight. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and listen.
yeah,
I
I
liked her
really.
outfits.
Outfit was on point, hair was on point. I
Yeah.
love the styling. You know what I'm saying? I think they could have
Yeah.
given Molly a little bit more. But I mean, I'm a little just disgruntled because I just feel like, the last week's episode was like kind of like the girls' last hurrah. So I kind of expected that to be a little bit of a throwaway. I mean, we got a couple things like, oh, we got something that happened with, Condola and Lauren. So that
Mhm.
kind of was closure. We got Tiffany is moving, okay,
We
and we
got
got
big things. This is nothing was big.
yeah. It was just and so let me go from let me start from the beginning, okay. But before I get to that, let me read some of the comments. Karina says we finally see Amal in episode 8. Oh, that's Issa
That's her
brother.
brother.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love him and Kelly's banter. Oh, they're hilarious.
That was funny, even though they don't really keep Kelly's character consistent. Because
Yeah.
for the sake of the joke, it was funny, but for the sake of Kelly as a character, it made no sense when she said, "Oh, I'm gonna write a show just to kill him off." Like, we know Natasha Rothwell is a writer, so it makes sense
Yeah.
for
It was
Natasha.
yeah.
But like Kelly, where did that come from? Like, it
Yeah.
it, it makes no sense for her character, and all of a sudden she's a fictional writer. But that's me being nitpicky. But I guess because
Okay.
I was just still disgruntled with the overall episode. Trey Lovely says nothing happened besides them alluding to the idea of people who cater to the Black community don't go on to thrive professionally or in Issa's case personally. Woo, child. Okay, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna
Mhm.
revisit that comment. Um, let's see. Oh no. Taylor Jermaine says I feel like Molly's dad might suddenly pass. No, no, no. Come on. We cannot have a death with 2 more episodes. Come on. No, don't do that.
She's
Don't
the
do that.
only character with a decent storyline. Like,
Yeah.
let us just see her happy.
Yeah, I would love to, this is going to sound crazy, especially coming off the heels of last season, but I would love to just have a Molly episode at this point, Chad. They could have just given us a whole Molly episode, this one, and moved it a little bit forward, but we didn't get that. And Karina says, Me Too season, this shit is ridiculous. I'm so disappointed. What the fuck happened with the writer's room during quarantine? I'm going to give them a little bit of grace because we all kind of phoning it in the pandemic channel. So maybe they was just like, look, we're going to give the fans what they want. Issa's ready to move on with her career. And, I'm not trying to be all down on them because I do still like the show. I still root for everybody black. But it just was like, really, this is what y'all doing? Like, y'all should have just made the season 8 episodes or 9 episodes instead of like wasting our time like this. But we might be in the minority. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Twitter feedback. Everybody always act like they love everything on Insecure when it comes on Twitter. But yeah. But okay. Anyways, let's start from the beginning. All right. Is it just me, or I'm really trying to assess? Am I imagining things when it comes to Nathan and Issa just not having chemistry, just not seeming like they have, like they're not selling that Issa and Nathan like each other, like for real, like are in love with each other? And I'm like, okay, is that a directorial choice? Or is that just like a deficiency in the delivery? I really don't know, because in the dream sequence, I bought them have like what I saw when Issa came home and she was rich. I saw like, I was like, yeah, okay, now this is believable. But then like going back to the beginning of the episode, I wasn't seeing anything with them. I'm not seeing any spark with them. So this whole notion of like, oh, we're in love and we're going to move in together, I'm not buying it. Ashley, what's and FCK Yaya says no, it's not just you. Yeah, and then Karina says it doesn't just have the same zest as other 4 seasons. So Ashley, what's your reaction to just like the opening sequence? Nathan is suggesting they move in, they're in bed, kind of. She's like, well, I don't know, I'm thinking about squirrels. Like, what's going on?
That was just weird to me that she had the squirrel comment, but then I'm like, okay, remember, she's supposed to be an awkward black girl. They would say some weird shit like that,
Yeah.
So if at first it caught me off guard because it looks like it was a sweet moment. I was happy to see them, in bed, laying together, relaxing, but I didn't get the I'm in love vibe.
Mm-hmm.
There just doesn't seem like passion between them.
Yeah.
I do feel like they love each other or that they like each other enough, but I don't feel like there's a passion and it's not, I don't think it's giving what they think it's supposed to give, but I'm kind of hoping that that's the point, right? I'm kind of hoping that, she's having these like awkward thoughts and all of this because she also has Lawrence on the brain. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know. I agree with you though. It didn't feel like they were really together. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, let me go back to some of the comments. It says, let me see, sorry. It was a good episode for Molly. Okay, that we're gonna revisit that. Way too many awkward pauses in their conversations. Yeah, like the rhythm of their conversations is weird to me. It's awkward. And like you said, I mean, Ashley, I think we give a lot of kind of leeway because originally this is conceived as awkward black girl, so it's like, okay, maybe it's supposed to be awkward, but they haven't always, like, there was a time where I thought Issa and Nathan were like, yes, Issa, okay, get your groove on, like whatever, but it's not giving that. It's not giving that anymore. Let's see. S. Murphy agrees they're not connecting. Crimson says my thoughts were, don't do it, girl. I don't know if that must be about Lawrence or who it was. And then Trey says, is it Issa's acting ability? Maybe it's her. She's not sparking with him in that way.
That's the roller coaster. I know that's what Season was thinking.
I know. The roller coaster they put me on this episode. I was saying I was missing Lawrence. Really? Oh my gosh. And Karina says, and season 3, that chemistry between Issa and Nathan was undeniable, and now it's questionable. And that's what I guess that's what's in the back of my head, because I remember when Nathan came onto the scene,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Issa, forget about Lawrence. Yes, Nathan. And now I'm just like, girl, why are you doing this to this man? You are not into him. Like, it is just ridiculous. And I don't think he is that into her either. I think he's very guarded, like he said. And it's just not, something is not clicking, but they're forcing it. It's fictional, so it's ridiculous that I'm going through all the psychoanalysis. But anyway, Season, your thoughts?
Nothing. I mean, they haven't changed. I don't think Issa Rae can act. I think the writing and the conversations in the way that they communicate on this show is just subpar. I mean, Issa started this shit with the whole "I love you." I thought they had chemistry in the beach episode when they finally hooked up at the end and was kissing.
Yeah,
they had chemistry on, but as soon as she said "I love you" and forced that shit on him, you know, then it just fell flat. So I definitely think they're making a point on I definitely think they're doing this on purpose. But at the same time, I just don't think Issa Rae can act. And clearly, just looking at the episode in its entirety, they running out of ideas. They running out of shit to do at this point. So why not just create this like weird energy and have people falling back on, well, maybe it's just awkward. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Queen Victoria says, I just want her to be with anyone but Nathan. I'm leaning against her being with Nathan only because she obviously is just not that into him, and I feel like you know, he doesn't need a charity girlfriend. Jermaine says he's also bipolar. I don't think that they're trying to suggest it's his bipolar condition. I don't know.
Because honestly, I didn't see the problem with him. I saw the problem with her.
I think the problem is a little bit on both sides. I think, you know, to Season's point, and Queen Victoria agrees, that "I love you" messed it up. I think that it just changed it from something that was like, we're taking it slow, to like, oh shit, now we're and then, you know, but in fairness, before the "I love you" came Nathan saying that he was Issa's boyfriend, right? So maybe the boyfriend thing kind of made her feel a little bit less guarded, and she dropped the whole "I love you," and then that just fucked it all up. So maybe they both take a little bit of blame, but it's awkward on both ends. So I think we're gonna go with that's the point, you know. S. Murphy says the pool moment with Issa and Nathan is one of my faves. Queen says we'll get to the previews. I think Nathan will switch up in the next episode because of the previews about Lawrence. If he does, he would be justified. We see Molly this season, but not as much as previous seasons. Yeah, what is up with that? I mean, I feel like Molly kind of started off like trying to have this growth and this, like, you know, exploring herself. And even though like there was a whole episode about Molly's mom, it wasn't really about Molly as much. It was more so, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Molly's being shortchanged this season. And I wouldn't mind that if we were getting a lot from other plots, but we're really getting a lot of nothing from all.
I think we're getting good. I think we're getting Molly.
Yeah, I think with Molly, she has a lot more quality scenes.
Yeah,
quality, like but not quality. Yes, quality.
Yes, she has a lot of quality scenes.
Yeah, they bring something for her storyline in every episode. Almost.
Yeah, that pushes it.
They're
forward.
Bringing it for her. I feel like they're bringing it for her.
I think she has a far more interesting plot. I think that her delivery is far more interesting and engaging.
It's not interesting.
Huh?
What?
I mean, it's not that interesting. She's flourishing at work. She's gonna start. You know,
I think we getting good
it's
stuff.
Something.
Yeah.
It's something.
I think
mean, when I get something from.
Well,
Molly.
I mean, it's no like, you know, P-Valley in terms of that compelling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I mean, it's good-ish. I mean, for the show, I think Molly has a higher quality plot than Issa does.
Yeah.
in
And I
terms
think they're
of.
showing some real serious things with Molly. Like her stuff is Queen Sugar level to me. The estate planning and bringing. Okay, let me take that back because as soon as I said that, I thought about it. I mean, as far as when I say Queen Sugar level, I mean as far as doing like a quality storyline of something really going on in the Black community. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yes, I
estate
think
planning.
it's not about woke, and I hate to say fucking woke. I hate that white folks have killed woke because Black people used to be able to say woke and that meant something, and now we can't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like that it's like a human interest type of story as opposed to like a, oh, what are they saying about me on Black Twitter,
Yeah.
Well, I
checklist
mean,
kind of thing.
last season she was such a bitch. She
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
super thirsty to be with this Asian cat. This
Mm-hmm.
season, she is like organically coming into all of her relationships. She's putting the effort there at work,
Yeah.
letting this man just fall in her lap and taking
Yeah.
it there. She's dealing with her parents and she's, like I think she's good. I'm rolling
Yeah.
with her this season.
I
It's
really like
definitely
how they doing her.
yeah, I think
I like her character, but I don't have any problems with Molly. My problem is with the choices to only give us a little bit of that
Mhm.
while spending so much time on shit that's giving us nothing. That's my
Yeah.
oh
problem
yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
What if
think
they
that
did a Molly spinoff though? Like, what if they given just a little taste of
No,
stuff?
I don't have time for that because it's gonna
yeah, I
be
don't know if
finished by
I don't know
Easter,
if I'd really
and
want
we
to do
don't.
that.
And I
Okay,
don't.
okay,
We're done with
okay.
that. Let's move on from
Okay,
Easter.
yeah, we can
Okay.
move on. We can move on. We can move on. Okay, so let's go to some of the comments and then I'll move on to the next topic. Because like I said, I don't. We just gonna be complaining all night if I just sit up here.
we really are.
We can just
I'm gonna get
rant.
into it. I'm gonna get into it.
Okay, Jermaine says this episode got a lot of folks waiting for wings and wine now. Okay, let's
That
see.
was
Let's.
cute, child.
It
That was
was. We're
real
gonna get to that. We're
cute.
gonna revisit that.
Oh,
We're gonna
okay, okay,
revisit
okay.
that. Molly is the boss. She winning. Yes, for a change. And I like that she's
Yeah.
winning. It's not like her winning isn't necessarily like, oh, Molly is in a great relationship and she's happy. It's not like, oh, she's being super overachiever at work and like killing herself in other areas. It's like a balance. I think there's a balance to Molly
Mhm.
that we have never seen. Even with her advice, it's very reasonable. We talked about it last week where I was like, good advice gone bad. But I think between last week and this week, we're seeing a Molly who's not overbearing, but it's just like, girl,
Mhm.
you're gonna do what you want to do, but like think about it a little bit more before you just jump into these rash moves. So I'm feeling Molly. Let's see. A Kelly spinoff. I don't even think that they've done enough with
No.
Kelly to give her a spinoff.
Mhm.
But Leah says, I like what they're doing, Molly. Okay, we all agree Molly is the highlight. Imagine that from last season to this season. I mean, talk about a turnaround. All right, so let's talk about the non-dream part of Issa's plot. Okay. What they are kind of doing is they are really kind of developing. Let me rephrase that. What they are doing okay at is developing Issa's block thing. I love the
Yeah.
events, that she's putting on. She's successful. She's thriving. She's feeling mostly confident, about as confident as she can, being awkward Black girl. But I will say that whole comment where the girl came up to Issa and she's like, "Oh, thank you for this event. I'm glad I stopped here on my way to the bridge." I was like, "What?" I mean, and
This
then
is so ill placed. It's
it
such a non funny joke.
yeah, it wasn't funny. I didn't think that did not land. That was like womp womp womp. Who
Yeah.
thought that was funny? That was really weird. That was really weird. But whatever. Said feeling Issa's assistant. Now, did they recast the girl or did she just get new hair? Because I feel
She
like
got new hair.
okay,
I like
okay.
her.
I like her. I think she's really funny.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I was like,
When
is this
she
a new
walked up and
person?
said, I don't like to fight my Black brothers, but I will.
Yeah, and then she said
Yes.
something about like I have a piece or something like that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
He said, I come in pieces. She said, I have a piece.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. And then I noticed that she did talk the anthology people into it. So it's like, that's the thing. You cannot take Black social media too seriously. You getting dragged one day, every day, the next people done forgot about it. So people making decisions based on who's getting dragged this day or that day, you're gonna be a real fickle ass person and people move on. So I thought that was interesting. But the white guy, he seemed like he was really down with what she's doing. So I was a little confused as to why, if it's a brand partnership and they're just investing money, I don't understand why they spent all this time with this whole notion of like she would be selling out if she went with the white guy, when in reality Crenshaw came crawling, eating crow to her about how difficult it really is and basically how she's not a sellout. So I feel like her interaction with Crenshaw, if anything, not that I think should have given her validation because you shouldn't seek validation, but if anything, it should have validated that she's on the right track with the new in NWB or whatever the fuck the water place, as opposed to sparking more insecurities about it. That was a weird thing to me. Ashley, what was your reaction to Crenshaw coming back and how that kind of created this two path spiraling that Issa was doing?
I mean, I think him coming back was like, you old, I must take seasons where you old bitch ass nigga. Like, how dare you come back and all of a sudden you want to work with me after you dragged me on fucking Twitter? Like, you didn't just drag me. I came to you and you stopped. You kept that shit going and basically cussed me out to my face and tell me I'm a sellout. Now all of a sudden you crawling back. Like, I can understand the business side of it, of working with him, and it could potentially be, lucrative. But at the same time, it's like, bro, I gotta have some level of integrity and morals of who the fuck I'm dealing with. And you proved to be a bitch. So like, nah, that shit right there was just really, I don't know. I don't know if working with him kind of validates her not being a sellout, because it's like he's already shown he ignorant as fuck. So does his opinion really even matter? When it comes to being a sellout and all of that? Because it's like, if you're not credible with who you are as a person, I can't really take what you saying and you believing in me seriously. So I don't know. I think that whole scene was like, of course he was coming back.
Yeah.
That it was like, of course he's coming back.
And I mean, I think they made him coming back sound believable. Like, I tried to do this shit on my own. This shit was harder than the motherfucking look. Like, yeah, no shit, motherfucker. What do you think? Like, duh. But it's still not clicking to me why this person coming back to you groveling makes you question whether you're a sellout, when his whole premise was that you're a sellout. Now he's saying you aren't a sellout. So, I just want more for Issa sometimes to just have some fucking self-esteem and some boundaries and some standards to be like, fuck off. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's see comments. And then I'll go to you, Season. It would have been nice to see Molly and Torian's first day. Exactly. Instead of these dream sequences. Like, why was there a whole thing about feeling like she had to choose? The only thing that could possibly make sense is because Crenshaw basically cussed out Issa and called her a sellout. I mean, that reflects poorly on the brand that she partnered with. So maybe that would jeopardize, that they didn't explicitly state that, but I can see why that could be the case. Yeah. But it's a no-brainer. You go with the fucking white folks who've been, sponsoring you. Duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand. They say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't know if I said that right, but you get my motherfucking drift. The whole point is, somebody has wronged you, even outside of anything else. That alone is enough. But Trey says she could have done both. And Queen says he sure did drug. I mean, he was just vicious with it. I mean, come on. But Karina brings up a good point. He came back because he doesn't want to do the legwork of getting the licenses. That's also why you need funding. Plus, Krayshawn didn't really apologize. Like, I need a whole, I'm sorry for disrespecting you. He didn't say that, or did I miss it? And also, the disrespect is public. The apology needs to be public. And then we can motherfucking talk. No, I'm not meeting you nowhere until you retract and apologize. And then the answer is still no, bitch. But I'm gonna get my apology before I get anything else. Right. And then let's see. Michelle says, it was weird to me. Success brings more choices, which means more decisions. I'm facing that. Oh, she said it wasn't weird. I don't think it's weird that she has choices. I think it's weird that she viewed her choices as a sellout or not a sellout. That part to me is weird, because Crenshaw want to be down with her. So how is she a sellout when he want to be down with her? I just said what you just said. Crenshaw is the one without integrity. He came crawling back like slick on back after slandering her in the community. Exactly. And then I think Issa believes eventually two worlds will collide. Look at what happened when she combined the two the first time. What happened? Oh, you talking about with Crenshaw and him having to act an ass? Mm.
Oh yeah.
Season, your thoughts on Crenshaw coming back?
I was thoroughly irritated with his whole speech. Like, he didn't apologize. He basically just said like, "Damn, this shit is really hard without you. Let's get back on the
Mhm.
same page so we can kill this shit and you can keep helping me and I can keep profiting and getting off on your labor and your connections." But I mean, it took me to the end of the last dream sequence to be like, oh, okay, she looking at this as a either or situation. Like, but why? Like you said, he came crawling back to her. So why can't she needs to go with with the option, the people who offering her
Mhm.
money, and then she needs to let him know, look, this is what I come with. So if you want to be down, then this is our partner. Like, what
Mhm.
the fuck? So I just think the whole thing was totally unnecessary. Like, obviously the ball's in your court, you hold the power, and what's the worst that's gonna happen? This nigga gonna get back on Twitter and start crying again? Like, who gives a
Mhm.
fuck? You
Yeah.
you you out here, you putting in work. People see it when they come to your events, and he can just go back to jail. So
He was in jail.
I mean, if
He
he
went
say
to
his shit
jail.
not working out, go back. Then that's what he'll end up. Who gives a fuck? I don't understand why this man has such a draw on her. I don't get it.
Well, I just it doesn't make sense to me because first of all, the brand partnership doesn't know anything about Crenshaw,
Mhm.
and so it's not even a choice. She could easily sign the contract and then say, "I'm going to work with Crenshaw again." What the fuck do they know? They don't know the difference. So it's stupid. It makes no sense. It's illogical. But whatever.
It's
Us
awkward.
Jermaine says so. Is Nathan and his cousin are cool now? Was that the same cousin? I don't even know,
Yeah,
child. If that was
that's the
the
same
same
cousin.
cousin.
They
Okay,
fell
Mhm.
out.
that
Well, they had, Nathan didn't tell him that he was bipolar, and then at
right.
the beach party, he found out that he was really the one that wanted him to go. The wife took the fall, and they left on a good note, so it's not
Okay,
shocking
yeah.
that they cool. Yeah, they left on a good note.
Yeah, exactly. Season Trey agrees with you. Jermaine says Issa feels a responsibility to the community too. That's part of the Crenshaw appeal. But I think we have to stop having this discussion as though like success equals selling out. I
Mhm.
mean, money make the world go round, child. If you
Hello.
can make money and have integrity, and you can make money and be in charge of your own brand and what you want to say, not 100% of the time, but that's on you to make that stipulation. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
I mean, is our Crenshaw, is he selling his sweaters for $20? No. He probably pushing them bitches for 60,
Exactly.
$55. So it's like everybody trying to get the coin. And just
Mhm.
because he feel like he has this vision and this connection that she don't, and he's willing to risk everything for it, like, nigga, that's on you. But can you get permits? Can you get licenses? Like, you need to go legit and you need help. And you are clearly not willing to do that on your own because it's too hard. So
Yeah.
what you gonna do? Everybody got to get to the point where they got to get their shit together and be in legit. And
Mhm.
if you need help, you need help. You can't. I just don't agree with him. Like, kind of like holding this shit over her head. Like, oh yeah, we need to be about the community. Like, she isn't already doing that. I mean, she
Right.
saved a woman's life that day
Oh
who was
God.
Should
on the way to the
have seen.
bridge.
Should have
I
seen
don't
it.
get it. I don't get it.
And success is not. It's just not selling out. And you have to. You know what though? I will say, you have to own your shit. You have to own your decisions. That's something that Molly said. It's something that Condola said in her little dream sequence. It's just in real life, like you have to really have a very strong sense of self and your self-worth and what your plan is and what you want to do. And obviously Issa does not have any of those things. She's eternally fucking confused about which way to go. She's spiraling, she's wishy-washy, she's flaky. She's a lot of things that really are not priming her for success and kind of makes her a little bit more susceptible to somebody like Crenshaw, who's really like fucked up towards her and her not standing her ground. Like Karina says, he's trying to guilt her into working with him again despite the disrespect. Like, no, if you disrespect me, we're done. You can save your apology. I don't give a fuck, And if I disrespect you, I'm gonna own that shit. I'm not gonna come back groveling to you. You can fuck off too, as far as I'm concerned. Why do y'all think Crenshaw path was the one where Lauren showed up? Is it because that's the path she knows she wants? Molly said deep down she knows what she wants to do, and Lawrence is in the truly wants. I'm going to get to that, but let's talk about the first path that first came up. Okay, so the block partnership. I was feeling where this was going. I was like, okay, good. So they're gonna like fast forward through the show, and then like a little bit.
I did too.
I was like, no, because they're doing the estate planning, so obviously this is like a dream. That's when I figured.
That's when I text y'all, what the fuck is this shit? Because I knew it was fake. I just knew it was fake.
So knowing that it was fake, and then it went on for a long time. And she was doing basically like public speaking engagements, and she's so fabulous. Hair's looking good, makeup looking good, clothes looking good, traveling first class. And then the whole, Ty Dolla $ign says he's working with Crenshaw, and she's like, oh, that's nice. Insecurity crept in. I was like, ugh. Then she goes home to Nathan Fabulous apartment. You know what I'm saying? I felt the chemistry in that scene. I was like, oh, okay, look at Issa having Nathan in her little dream sequences and shit. Okay, maybe I misread the earlier scene. I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I'm missing something. Then she's like, oh, when did we move here? And it's like they're in West Hollywood. And so the whole thing is like she's selling out in that case. Like, let's be honest, a lot of people, they move the fuck on up and out. Okay, look at the girl, Alicia. Was it Alicia Garza from Black Lives Matter? Well, she had them properties and she said she wasn't living in them and they was like rental properties. She had one in Malibu. She had multiple houses. She was like, well, these are from my public speaking engagements and yada, yada, yada. Like, it doesn't matter how down for the community you start.
You want nice shit.
You want nice shit.
And if you pop, you pop. If you pop, you make money. You spend your money. One thing about black motherfuckers, we're going to spend our coin now, chair. You know what I'm saying? This whole, you wouldn't even know if white person is rich. Fuck out of here. They spend their money too. Just because you can't identify it on them immediately don't mean they're not spending money. But the whole point is that when you get successful, your tastes tend to change. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, how many people in our community, do people look up to that are rich and they have nice shit, and then they turn around and hawk, $700 shoes? Like, how much does Kanye West shoes cost? I don't know. They're expensive. So that was just stupid to me. But what was your reaction though, Ashley? Did you take anything from the fact that Nathan was in the first one and successful too? He was very successful in that scene.
Yeah, it looks happy. It looked like they had some money. It looked like they was in love. It looked like that was a happy sequence. It was just hella weird when Ty Dolla $ign said, I'm about to go work with Crenshaw, and she, like, the insecurity snuck in and she started thinking stuff. I'm just sitting there like, why do you even remember who the fuck he is? Like, you're the successful person. You doing panels, you going and you looking fabulous. You got a nice house. You got a good man. Like, why are you even concerned about him? So that is what made it annoying. Like, it got me at first.
Yeah.
I was like, man, they about to fast forward. We gonna see what happened. Maybe they skipped over, Molly's parents' stuff and they're showing what happened afterwards. But then when she got insecure, I'm like, oh God, this is just
here we
like,
go.
Just where the bridge at, okay? Because y'all really are annoying as fuck. Y'all annoying.
Not the bridge. Now what you just said was funnier than the episode, than the bridge in the episode. That was better. Oh my God. Yeah. Jermaine says can't figure out what's wrong with living in West Hollywood. There's nothing wrong, shit. Issa probably lives in West Hollywood. Yeah. Let's see. The dream sequence went so long. I almost rewound the show to see if I missed something. I was like, okay, no, this ain't a dream sequence because this is like long. This isn't like just a minute, And then when she said, when it was like years, I was like, okay, no, this isn't a dream sequence.
Yeah, this is a dream sequence. I rolled my eyes so hard, like, here we go.
Yeah.
I wasn't fooled for 1 minute.
Okay. You knew from right away.
I know as soon as she was on the stage and she was like, oh, it's been 2 years. And I was like, here we go.
Yeah, but when she walked inside of the building and she was given the projections, I didn't think it was me, but the stage part is what kind of let it
Mm.
be obvious. Let's see. Karina says they'll be the first by name. We're going back to our earlier discussion. They made sure to mention in the first dream sequence that it was stated that she was no longer working with anyone in the Black community in LA.
No.
Did she say she wasn't working with anybody in the Black community, or did she just say that
I
she
don't
doesn't do a
remember
lot of work
that.
in LA? I thought I heard.
She didn't live in LA. That's what I heard.
I
No,
thought
she said that she was in Detroit in the dream sequence doing the show or the discussion, and she said that she hadn't worked in LA in a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that means that you're not working with Black people. I just think that means she just wasn't working in LA.
Yeah.
The real issue is Issa not living in Inglewood. But why? I just, you know what? I guess we're just not the audience to feel like there's something wrong with that. Oh my God.
I know, but we from LA. I
Born and
wouldn't
raised in
really,
LA, and I'm in
yeah, like
Houston.
Like I
Okay.
graduated from Crozier Middle School. I went to Inglewood High before we moved to damn all the way out the boondocks. You know, we LA girls. So I mean, okay, and people move the fuck out of LA.
Yeah.
Newsflash, people move
LA
out of
is too
Inglewood.
expensive. LA is way too expensive.
yeah, do they not know that SoFi Stadium is in Inglewood right now? Come on.
Yeah, Inglewood is high as fuck too. The fuck? Like shit, it's probably the same price to live in goddamn Inglewood as to live some parts of West Hollywood. Like, give me a
Yeah.
fucking break, you know? So it's just stupid, whatever. Okay. Moving on. So we realize that it's a dream
Fake.
sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. Then we get to the and we'll just end on Molly because that's just a better plot anyway. We'll end on that. But anyway, then they have the second dream sequence, which is the Crenshaw sequence, right? And I thought that was cool too. You know, okay, she's working with Crenshaw. He has this really successful store. They open up another store together. They have these big venues they're filling up. But you then go home and you living in your same apartment and you still unclogging toilets.
It's the same apartment.
Yeah.
And
Like-
Lawrence is there.
And well, oh wait, and you getting the key to the city, all this other kind of stuff, and like, but you haven't done better for yourself financially. And then Nathan's like, oh, well, you sacrifice some things. Like, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break.
No, like I'm not. Well, okay, so that means she didn't take the big lump sum, of course, from the white company. She working off of just what her funds, and that's it.
I don't know what's
Krishan's
going
supposed to
on.
be like they're supposed to be successful.
I didn't
I will
understand.
say this. I did like the design of the store though. That shit was dope.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, so you're opening up a second location. So you have
Where's
two
the money
storefronts that you're working with. You're doing all these events. Everybody knows you, Issa D, but then you still in your own apartment. It's the math is not mathing to me. It's not
And
math.
you got a nigga living in your house now.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't increased the square footage. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was confused. I was just confused. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Karina says, why not move into Nathan's apartment? Does that make sense to anybody? Like, I get that they want to say that this one is the sellout, but does it make sense to make this one be like, well, if you want the community to love you, you can't get more money, you can't live in a nice place. Like, I just don't agree with that. And maybe I'm just being too harsh, but it was stupid. It was like really dumb. Really, really dumb.
I mean, I can understand that she would not have gotten that lump sum as quickly, but y'all got these stores opening up that you helping with. Why you ain't getting a percentage of that?
Yeah.
At the same time, why are you only collaborating with him and not other people? Like, that's what I didn't like about the dream sequences. They both only focused on her doing one thing. It's like, why would you be partnering with Crenshaw and not have other ventures going on? Like, that's what I don't get. I mean, shit was dumb, man.
And why does so much of her? I mean, it's insecure. I feel redundant saying this,
but it's not as dumb. We're not even seeing insecure. We're seeing dumbness.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, you know, what I'm struggling with, and I feel stupid saying this because this is stupid, but why is both in both scenarios, it's all about how she's received by people. It's all about like, oh, in this scenario I'm on this stage and I'm like, aha, I'm fabulous, and whatever the fuck, and people are clapping for me. And then on the other scenario, it's, oh, people are calling me Issa Wood and blah blah blah. Bitch, you don't, and you confused as fuck in both scene, like both ways. You're confused. You're confused, and I'm just like, but we got confused, Issa, in episode 1, bitch. Why are we still on confused, Issa, in episode motherfucking 8? I mean, it's. I'm glad it's coming to an end because it's wearing me out. It's really wearing me. I don't need confused Issa.
Sick of her making stupid decisions. Like, I mean, I understand we've made stupid decisions, right? But at what point are you like more confident in yourself? Is she ever gonna get any confidence, or like? I guess I don't know what an awkward black girl is, because
I guess maybe we just are dumb as fuck for wanting some growth, some growth. Like, where is the growth? Okay, S. Murphy, me and you are right here. What do I say? Jinx, when somebody you talk at the same time, Jinx. Anyway, where is the motherfucking growth, dude? Like, come on, I'm trying to root for you, bitch, but you got to root for yourself. Season.
What's the question?
I can just wait, see the text message.
Okay, we just gonna move on.
I learned nothing from
it's just
either
giving me
sequence. They both were fake. Period.
Yeah, the only thing that was true was that Issa's always fucking confused and always insecure, and I'm just over it. I'm over her being just perpetually insecure and confused. Like, oh my
I'm so ready to talk about Molly, because
okay, so let's move on. Let's wrap it up. Let's talk about Molly, because Molly's not fucking confused. So let's talk about the one bitch that's not confused on the show. All right. So this episode, we did find out, of course we didn't see, which would have been way better, that Molly did go on a date with Tori, and obviously it went well, so that was nice. But this was a focus on Molly's Molly's family planning, and there's a part of me that's like, did we need this? But then there's the other part of me that's like, well, I mean, I do think that they at least did touch on something that is true, which is that like a lot of our parents work all the way up until retirement. They don't save shit. They're constantly borrowing against their 401k to pay for unexpected expenses, and they don't really have shit to leave behind. If you're lucky, they have an insurance policy that covers, like the funeral expenses, and maybe you can go buy a washer and dryer or some shit with the leftover money, like, and go have like $1,000 something, go buy a little something.
Buy that, Reese. That's
no, but I'm just saying, like, normally, like, I won't say normally because I don't have the statistics, but I'm just saying my perception is that we don't always, like, Black parents don't always have really anything to leave behind. So I do think that,
why do you have to get a washer and dryer?
Well, I'm just saying it's a big ticket item. I mean, it could be a TV, it could be a laptop. I mean, maybe it's a down payment for a car. It might be a down payment for a car or something. I'm just saying, it's like it's an item. It's an item. It's not like, woo, this is transforming our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. A vacation. And so I was not trying to be funny. I really wasn't trying to be funny. But the whole point, I think, what it touched on is the lack of estate planning, because we don't always have shit to like pass on.
Okay.
So in the comments, okay, because apparently I was not trying to be elitist or trying to be funny. In the comments, so I think it was good to touch on that, like, and I liked how Kelly kind of made them feel better, like, oh, I've dealt with all kinds of situations, from people who don't have anything, people who have a lot. So yeah, any reaction other than laughing at me and what I was saying.
Okay. I really like they make it a little bit, easier to digest. I should say, okay, Caesar, stop, because I'm trying to stop with you. Yo, Reese, I forget sometimes how fucking hilarious you are. Okay. Woo! All right. I like how they made it easier to digest the conversation of like parents not being able to pass stuff down. the lack of ability to have generational wealth in your
Mm,
family, that
it's a
whole
big
working
deal.
50 years and not having anything but a house, the frustration that comes from having those difficult conversations with so many people at once. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that they gave it to us in a way that is like easier to deal with than to just making, like Queen Sugar would have been on some like, real details in it and make it hard to watch. More sadness in the conversation, because it's a difficult combo. I mean, I've had it with my mom,
Yeah.
and it's not like she's sick or anything like that. Thank God she's healthy. But it's like those conversations, whether your parents are healthy or not, are difficult. So I like the fact, I really felt Molly, like when she got in the car and she broke down. It's like
Mm-hmm.
she had to be this strong, hold everything together just to get her parents through this conversation. And I'm glad she took that moment for herself. You get what I'm saying? Like, she didn't
That.
suppress those feelings. She allowed herself to release it. And I've been in one of those moods of like I'm crying hysterically and my fucking phone rings, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was just a really real scene for me. That's probably the best I've seen in the episode.
Absolutely,
Like,
hands
was
down.
Molly, that whole her interaction, that vulnerability she had in that moment. And it was Taryn and what he sent her. Oh, it was like, oh, you sent her wine and wings. You are a man
Wingstop.
after my heart. Like, that was dope. That was
You
really
know
dope.
what that was for Molly? Growth. It was growth.
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 Okay.
It was a beautiful
I love it.
thing. I
Mhm.
love that. I mean, she stayed true. She was compassionate. Because, in the past, Molly was heavy handed. Molly was really abrasive sometimes with people. She could be very judgy. But I feel like she really was very empathetic towards her parents
Yeah.
and very mature about the conversation. I thought Kelly brought great comedic relief to the
Mhm.
conversation. But I loved, absolutely loved the way that they showed the heaviness of that conversation once she got in the car and she broke down. And I loved even more that she didn't try to put on like the face of like, I'm gonna just suck it up because I wanna,
Mhm.
I don't wanna potentially alienate this guy, already went on one date. Because a lot of people wouldn't want to necessarily
Yeah.
cancel the second date, especially if the first one went well. But I love that she felt like, number one, safe enough with Torian to be honest, but also that she was secure enough in herself to be like, I need this time for me. Let me go to a
Mhm.
couple comments in the season. I'll bring you in. Let's see. Best scene with Molly Indeed. I thought someone was on her backseat.
Mm.
Leah says, I swear I thought Dro was going to show up while she was in the car and she was going to regret. So glad I was wrong.
I thought Joe
I
was gonna be at her door instead of those wings, though.
you know what? I forgot about Dro calling her the last episode.
Mhm.
So they just, I don't know if that's gonna come up again, but yeah, if I had remembered, I might have been like, oh my god, is this Dro? But I was actually thinking it was gonna be Torian, but I was glad it wasn't Torian because I'm glad that he respected her boundaries.
Yep, but make
And
sure she ate. Let me tell you, the
boom.
way to a woman's heart is to make sure she eat.
And I love Wingstop too. And S. Murphy says that was a nice move by Torian. Someone is on the growth move, yes.
Mhm.
And then let's see, Real Talk. Oh, okay, I already said that one. Okay, season. Your reaction to the whole discussion and how Molly handled the aftermath of that discussion.
I think it was really eye opening for Molly. I mean, when you think about what she's been trying to accomplish with her parents and they're not really taking the shit seriously, then her mom has a stroke and she
Mm-hmm.
finds out they've been withholding her health issues and
Mm-hmm.
she's actually have them backed in the corner and they still don't want to talk about their finances. Like, it just really goes to show like our parents are, that generation can be very stubborn
And
and it's
secretive.
yeah, and
Mhm.
secretive, and it has and they have a lot of pride tied to their situation. So like it had like just her dad, he gave a good scene too where you could see just the disappointment
Mm-hmm.
and how
Mhm.
uncomfortable he was on his face. Like, I don't really have no money saved up. All we got is this house. So,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that for her and I was just like, damn, that shit is real. And I think who was it? Me and you, Reese, where you say black families tend to only be out of poverty for one generation or some shit like that.
Yeah, and it's true. It is true.
And
Like,
this episode is an exact example of that. If Molly
mhm.
wasn't a lawyer, if she was just your regular smuggler girl, like, and her parents didn't have nothing but a house to leave her, what's gonna happen? She gonna sell the
Mhm.
house, do what she want to do with the money, go get her a washer and dryer,
I
and
was
then
gonna say it, but
bam,
you beat me to
yeah, and
it.
then bam, she on Instagram posting about how she want to leave generational wealth to her kids, and it's gonna keep going and going and going. So I love that whole scene. I thought Kelly was doing too much, but clearly it was needed, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
break the
when she got in
tension.
that car, I was like, girl, I feel you, bitch.
Hmm.
And I'm glad no one was in the back seat. I'm glad no one knocked on her window. She just took her ass home, which is what she needed
Yeah.
to do. Torian did his little blue blue. I like him. I like Molly's storyline. I really, really do. And I forgot about that nigga Joe too. I think they threw that in to waste our time real quick.
Yeah, that seemed like a throwaway, or
Yeah.
not. We'll have to see. Yaya says this is the growth y'all wanted when Molly didn't tell her coworkers about her mom being in the
Mhm.
hospital. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jermaine says she typified what many black daughters carry in the family. Ain't that the truth? Um, I think that, in the black community, we're so hush hush about stuff. Oh, you can't tell people how much money you make, because then people think that they can ask you for money. I don't want nobody to borrow money. So if I have money, I can't tell people how much money I make, whatever. And then if you don't have money, then there's a stigma around that, and with health. People don't want to talk about their health. You have to pry out your health history out of your family, child. You might be lucky to get to know what's going on with your parents and your grandparents, maybe. Okay, but the whole ass family, that ain't fucking happening.
They'll tell you
Um,
who got diabetes or some
In a
shit,
second,
or
who
high
yeah,
got
blood
the
pressure,
gout?
but you ain't getting past that.
you're not getting shit else. Okay, there's a lot of shit that's genetic. You better go run some motherfucking tests, because if you got it, people when I was pregnant, it was like, oh, what do you? I'm bitch. I don't know shit about my family history, so you run the fucking test and tell me if I'm susceptible or not. Okay. Um, but anyway, there's such a lack of communication. We all sit around, we talk shit all day, but when it comes to the real meat of the matter, we're
Mhm.
very secretive, very hush hush about our shit. And if nothing else, don't be that way with your children, with your immediate family. So
Absolutely.
I think
I
that's a good
mean, even
takeaway.
I had to learn in my marriage because I, child, we got married. I was like, cool. Then, after about a month later, we took some financial class with Dave Ramsey. This nigga wanted my credit report. He wanted my debt. I was like, so so now it's like even me. I had to learn how to talk about money because that wasn't a discussion that was had in our
Mhm.
household. Like, and I won't be that way with my kids. And we be asking our mama, "You got your money together?" And she like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So it's like, it's hard. It's just not
Mhm.
easy in the black community, and maybe it's because historically we ain't got nothing, but
So it
Exactly.
ain't nothing to talk about.
And
there ain't
and
much to
to
talk
be
about. But now
And
we,
to be
you know,
fair, I mean, black parents are pouring into their children, right? Most of them are. I mean, Molly's parents have successful children. And so
Mhm.
it follows that they are not going to have as much left over because they have poured into their children. If they have something passed down to them, then they can pass shit down without being left empty.
Yeah.
So, we are trying to catch up, and just try to make it better for the next, we want our kids to have better than how we had it. And sometimes all you can do is just really get them to where, well, at least you starting ahead of where I started. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that was a real part, but it was really kind of delivered in a more jokey joke manner until she got into the car. So it is what it is with that. But going back to Torian, I did really appreciate that he's still, like, they're still co-workers, and I think he's still a little bit senior to her. So they have the career thing. Like, she understood, like, okay, I was running late from with work. But I like how he said, are you still up for this? And I like how she was honest, and how she was
Yeah.
like, no, I really need time to myself. And then I like how he honored that, but also sent her some food and some wine, and it just really made her feel really good. And I feel like, I've always rooted for Molly and her relationships except for Dro. But I feel like this one, there's more of equally yoked in terms of, understanding each other's career path. Like what was his name? Was it Andrew, or what was the Asian guy's name? Asian Bay's name? Andrew. I liked Andrew. I thought Andrew was very accommodating to Molly, but the whole problem is you're accommodating as opposed to celebrating. And I think that he was more accommodating to, like, oh, I'm accommodating your schedule. I'm accommodating that you have to do this. And I think that with Torian, they're more compatible because there's not, I'm accommodating you. There's like, I get it. This is how it works, And it's not even a thing that's how it works. And so I'm optimistic about them. What I would have preferred to see in this episode, especially looking at the previews, is I would have preferred to see we haven't even talked about Lawrence and Issa and her whole thing with Lawrence. But I would have just preferred to like see a little bit more about, like, let's see a second date, or let's see the first date, or let's see more of that about with Molly. But I forgot. So anyway, long story short, in Issa's second Crenshaw dream, Lawrence pops up. And then when Nathan gets home and he's bringing her food, then again she hears Lawrence's voice. And so the previews show that Lawrence, like, Tiffany's having a going away party. Nathan moves in with Issa, and Lawrence does end up going to the party with Condola and the baby, and Issa's kind of looking, and then Nathan is outside and he's not really feeling the situation. So my thing is just like, y'all could have had that be this episode instead of this whole wasted episode. Let me go to the comments and then I'll get your reaction to the previews. Jermaine says, I just hated that I expected him to not understand her feelings after her day with family. I know, right? It was refreshing, but it was also surprising for the show. I like Tori and for Molly. I actually thought they were going to hook up when she first started at the Black Firm. Yeah, that didn't come from totally left field. Okay, so Asha, your reaction to, like, what in the fuck is the point of Issa going through this with Nathan, with Lawrence on her brain? Like, how unfair is that? We'll probably drag her next week, but just your reaction to, like, what, like, should they have just skipped this episode and went to that, or like what? Just give me your thoughts. So we can, this will be the closing thoughts.
I feel like, this is an expected thing to happen, right? They've been building up to both dudes being in the same room and who she's going to choose and what's going to happen. So it's not really surprising that this is how it's playing out. But it's just like, okay, what y'all about to do? Like, if you're going to put Issa back with fucking Lawrence, just do that shit. Don't drag this shit out for fucking 10 episodes. Make me watch this bullshit and then piss me off at the end. Just go ahead and do that shit at the beginning. And I think it was you, Reese, that said that I would like to see, like, if you're gonna do it, put her in the stepmom role, and let that play out as the season or whatnot. But it's just fucking annoying. Like, I'm so over it. I'm ready for it to be done because they keep dragging out this lame ass storyline of Nathan or Lawrence. And it's like, Lawrence got a whole ass baby, bitch. He got a baby. He rolling around here like he a fucking family. Like, the nigga abandoned his baby at first. Like, why would you even, why is this even a fucking issue, bro? Like, you really are doing the fucking most by still having, I don't care that they've been together 5 years. I don't care. He's the love of her life and blah, blah, blah. The nigga got a baby. Okay. That's his focus. And you're seeing that that's his focus because you saw that shit in the hospital. I'd be making that with my man. I would not even be thinking about fucking Lawrence and Condoleezza and a fucking cute ass baby. I wouldn't even be thinking about it. But
I think a common theme with pretty much every show, right? Drama, dramedy, whatever. And it's not a black thing. It's a every race thing. It's like this whole notion of like the one that got away or my true love. But there's one guy that I'm with and he's great. I can't relate because, like,
I can't
I don't
either.
have exes, so it's like I'm with you now. Then that's it. I'm not like thinking about
That
nobody.
part.
You know,
That's
like,
a
I
good
mean, we're
part.
good. Like, I don't understand the concept of like I'm with the guy and he's really great and he's treated me wonderful and there's absolutely no reason for me to be dissatisfied whatsoever. But I'm thinking about my ex. What ex? I don't have them anymore. I don't have exes.
Maybe because we're not insecure when it comes to relationships. Like
At all,
like
baby.
I don't have an issue with that. Like all of my exes or whomever you claim to be my ex, like y'all niggas don't exist over here. You
Yeah.
had whatever it is, and it's over with. Like I'm not. I don't understand this whole idea that. I mean, the nigga was living off her couch unemployed, bro. Like the way.
Look, that's my point. I always bring up. You need to bring up. You need to get your
Okay.
own Lawrence
Okay.
talking point.
I'm
Okay.
saying. First of all, that's probably the only point you remember. That's why you try to
That's
hold
all
on
that
to
matters. That's
it.
all that matters to
I'm
me.
just saying, like, Lawrence
Season is
is
still on
trying.
season one,
I'm
Lawrence.
still on
Man,
season one.
She's like, I don't
man,
even need to know the baby. I
I
know
don't care
season one.
about
Lawrence.
Lawrence and nothing he got going on. He was a fucking bum. Let's all remember that
yeah,
at all
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Well, okay. So, a couple comments in the season. I'll go to you to close this out. Lawrence and Condola are probably back together by now after seeing the preview. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I think I can't take anybody seriously. I can't take Lawrence's back together seriously. I can't take Nathan and Issa moving in together seriously because they don't want us to. Let's see. Leah says Issa's so selfish and it's exhausting. She could have left Nathan alone, right? And I've always felt like she's going to get back with Lawrence, but I was hoping she wouldn't hurt someone else in the process. Exactly. That's what makes me be like, Issa, you're a fucking asshole. And that's every show. Every show, it's the same thing. And sometimes I root for the new guy. Sometimes I root for the old guy. But to me, I don't want this to be a 5-season thing. Like, you know what I'm
At
saying?
all.
Like with Carrie and Big, right? I mean, it wasn't a 5-season thing. I mean, Carrie had
Yeah.
whole ass relationships and
Yes.
she went moved on with her fucking life. And then, like, you know, once every other season, I don't remember how many seasons there were, you know, but I'm just like every season, like the common theme is like, I don't know, I still kind of love Lawrence. Like, I'm just over it. Let's see.
And Big had money. Lawrence is broke.
Yeah, but you know, Big and Carrie had something. I guess whatever. Ashley is spot on. Lawrence is not an option if she does not like Nathan. Then don't lead him on. She's being trifling if she throws Nathan over for Lawrence.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's never. I'm not gonna say that. On a lighter note, I watched Harlem and loved it. It got me in my feelings about my ex when I finally had off my brain. The story is so similar about a breakup, timeline, engagement. Karina, we're gonna do a Harlem recap, so we'll talk about it after we're done with this season. Your last comment on the previews. Oh wait, Jermaine says my breakups were come with shit I don't ever want to revisit. Okay, I didn't even. I mean, I have breakups like my ex, if I had an ex, which I don't. You know, it was shady or whatever, but it's like you don't fucking. And I told him my last words I said to him was like, "Come on, you knew that this wasn't. You know
Yeah.
me, so if you know me, then you know like, yeah, I humored you a little bit longer, and I let you kind of prove yourself, but you know it wasn't gonna happen." And that was the last time I ever talked to him. If he existed. Season last comment
About I think that it's gonna be, well, obviously if Issa and Lawrence do talk, it's not gonna be at this going away party for Tiffany and them. So we're pretty much gonna have a whole episode of all these awkward scenes of them at the party and people talking, and then Nathan gets upset, and then maybe at some point Issa and Lawrence will talk and whatever. I already see next week wasting my time, but you know, hopefully we can see something with Molly and Torian. And
yeah, that would be nice.
I like
Yeah.
Condola. I hope she's still getting the support that she needs. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll be here.
Right, we'll be here to talk trash. And you know, the last thing I'll say to your earlier point, Ashley, is like, you know, they have still never covered motherhood in a way that's at all meaningful on the show. Like, okay, we've had a couple of good scenes. Like I thought Issa, when she went to go visit her mom and she got the hug and she broke down, like that was a cute scene. You know, Molly, the most that we've seen of Molly's mother prior to her having a heart attack was badgering her about, you know, finding a man, finding out that Molly's dad cheated and her mom stayed anyway, which led her to go have a fucking extramarital affair with Dro. So I was like, you know, the mamas have been super fucking toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even like, you know, with Tiffany, you know, they only showed her postpartum, but in a super cliche way. And so I, you know,
for a day, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and then you know you had Condola, which is like Condo's on the struggle bus. Like it wasn't, and then they still kind of did it like in a way like, well, this is what your ass get. Like you look at your ass by yourself, you know. Like it's not done in a way that celebrates motherhood. It's not done in a way that humanizes mothers. It's done in a way that really diminishes them. So like I feel like as much as I kind of feel like we're heading towards an Issa and Lawrence reunion, and I'm like, why the fuck they waste our time? I would have rather have seen them actually explore what it means to be a mom or what it means to be a stepmom in a way that was mature. But this is Insecure, so that's probably
and entertaining.
Yeah, and it could be entertaining, and maybe I'm just looking for a totally different show. So, anyways, Karina says, but he's not a bum now. It's a blow to the ego to see the man you held down have it together now, and you don't have the benefit of the doubt that the new chick does. Not really. I don't. That's not how I feel. But I know I understand.
I've been in Issa's position. I mean, I ain't never been with no nigga who was laying on my couch and not working. But you know, when you young and everybody in college and everybody trying to get themselves started, trust me, the niggas you hold down, they do not change. They are not gonna go to the next bitch and give her credit and appreciate her. Lawrence, you think he ever gonna give Issa credit for shit? No. He's never going to be like, you know, Issa, you the one for me because you held me down, you believed in me, nothing. No, he's never gonna do that. So it's like, let it go. And no, come on now.
I listen, I've held down a motherfucker and it was a thankless job.
It's so thankless
to cheat. He had the nerve to cheat, even though I'm holding him the fuck down. Are you kidding me right now, you bitch ass motherfucker? That's why it's like a no-brainer to me. Like, bye. I don't give a fuck if I saw your ass on TV, you hit the lotto. I dodged a bullet as far as I'm concerned, because I have a much, much, much happier, fabulous life where I am celebrated, not tolerated, and for fuck sure, not cheated on. Okay? So, yeah, I'm not with that whole shit. I'm not a person who looks back. That's just me.
Lawrence does not appreciate Issa for that.
No, and then really, but Lawrence came back, you know, to Issa. It was more like, oh, you know, you cheated on me, but I wonder if I just threw in the towel too quickly. It was still more like you were trifling as fuck, but maybe I should have gave your trifling ass another chance. Like Nathan, on the other hand, I just feel like, you know, it's not going to work out. We already know that. But I just feel like, you know, they both have baggage. Maybe so Lawrence and Issa having baggage, like he had a whole ass baby and she cheated. Like now we're even. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if that's where we're heading, they could have done this whole season differently, is my point. Instead of just wasting our time.
That could have been episode 2.
That could have been episode 2. That could have been episode 2, and that would have been that. And they could have still had the Molly episode be the same. They could have still had, you know, Lawrence and Condola figuring it out. There are still other things that did not have to change, but yeah. But anyway, that's it, y'all. We done talked a lot. But okay, so we have to figure out this thing because we have all watched the entire season of Harlem, and so we want to do a live recap of Harlem. We're not all on the same page with how fabulous it was, but we're gonna have an honest discussion, and so like this way, like we're but yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna announce it in advance because it's not like, you know, like, oh, after Insecure we're gonna do a live, but we are going to do a recap. So the three of us will figure it out and then we'll announce it. So stay tuned for that. But guess what? We're going to be back next week, probably complaining, but we can all complain together. Listen, if you're a disgruntled Insecure watcher, then you have a home here.
Yes.
Next week. Okay. So yeah, anyways, all right, y'all. That's all. We talked longer than we needed to for this episode. So peace out. Bye, y'all.
Bye.